You ever hear about something so insane that you know it can't be true, but you just have to check it out? That's how we ended up that night. Me, Eric, and Dylan, crouched in the woods by Lake Travis, hearts pounding in our chests like we just run a marathon, praying that the thing hunting us couldn't hear it. I'm getting ahead of myself, though. This whole thing started like it always does these days, with Reddit. Eric's obsessed with that subreddit, the one where people post about cryptids, Bigfoot, skinwalkers, that kind of stuff. But a few weeks back, there was this thread that got crazy attention, a post from some guy who said he saw the Rake in Austin near Lake Travis. Now, if you've never heard of the Rake, count yourself lucky. It's one of those creepypasta monsters that exploded online. Supposedly, it's this pale, emaciated creature that looks kind of like a naked man, but with limbs way too long for a person, no hair, and eyes like black holes. And then there's the teeth, rows of jagged, shark-like teeth. It crawls on all fours quick as hell, and according to the stories, once it locks onto you, it doesn't stop until you're dead. The legend says people have been seeing this thing for centuries, but no one knows exactly what it is or where it came from. The worst part? It's smart. It knows when you're afraid, and it's attracted to fear. Most people who've seen it never live to tell the tale. So when that Reddit post showed up about a recent sighting, it got a lot of people freaked out. Eric was obsessed. "We have to check this out," he kept saying. I was less enthusiastic. I mean, come on, some random dude on the internet says he saw a monster, and we're supposed to believe it? But Dylan was all in, and, well, I didn't want to be the only guy backing out. Plus, we figured worst case, we'd just spend a night hanging out in the woods, drink some beers, and come back with a funny story. So we packed up our camping gear, grabbed a couple of flashlights and a pair of binoculars, and headed out to Lake Travis. It's a popular spot, but not at night, especially in the areas away from the shore. The place can get creepy as hell, and I don't know if it's the isolation or the way the trees block out the moon, but everything gets darker than you'd expect. It's like the night just swallows you whole. We park it at this dirt lot about a mile away from where the sighting had supposedly happened, which was down this old trail that ran through a pretty dense section of woods. "This is gonna be sick," Eric said, hyped as always, adjusting his backpack. I tried to play it cool. "Yeah, man, let's go find this fake monster," I joked. But deep down, I couldn't shake this weird feeling, like something about the whole situation was just off. We hiked for about an hour, the woods getting thicker around us. The moon was full that night, but the trees were so dense it barely broke through. The trail, if you could call it that, was mostly overgrown, like nobody had walked it in years. Every once in a while, we'd hear something rustling in the brush. Probably just animals, but it got our nerves up. We kept the flashlights off most of the time, wanting to save the batteries for later. By the time we reached the spot where the guy claimed he saw the Rake, we were all a little on edge. The woods had that eerie kind of silence that you only hear deep in the wilderness. No birds, no bugs, just stillness. Dylan was the first one to speak up. "This is the place, right?" Eric checked his phone. "Yeah, according to the coordinates from the post. Should be right here." We stood there for a while, just listening, but there was nothing. No sign of the Rake, obviously. After about 20 minutes, Dylan started laughing. "I told you this was bullshit." I was about to agree when we heard it, a low growl coming from somewhere up ahead. We all froze. My heart jumped into my throat, and for a second I thought, maybe it was just an animal, a mountain lion or something. But then it happened again, closer this time. "What the hell was that?" Eric whispered, gripping his flashlight. "Probably just a coyote," I said, though I didn't believe it for a second. I was trying to calm myself down, but it wasn't working. There was something wrong about the sound, something unnatural. And then, out of nowhere, we saw it. At first, it was just a shadow, low to the ground, moving fast between the trees about 50 yards ahead of us. But as it got closer, the moonlight caught it. Pale skin, long, bony limbs. The Rake. I swear to God, I've never felt fear like that in my entire life. My legs turned to jelly, and for a split second, I couldn't move. None of us could. We just stood there, staring as it crawled toward us on all fours, its body jerking unnaturally, like it was moving faster than any animal should be able to. Its head whipped toward us, And even from that distance, I could see its eyes. Black. Empty. "Run!" Eric shouted, breaking the spell. We bolted, sprinting back the way we came, crashing through the trees. The thing let out this high-pitched screech, and I swear it was right behind us. I could hear it, feel it. That primal instinct kicked in, fight or flight, and there was no way we were fighting that thing. We ran for what felt like hours, though it was probably only a few minutes. My lungs were burning, my legs on fire, but I didn't dare stop. I could hear Dylan behind me, his breath ragged, and Eric up ahead. The screeching got louder, closer, like it was about to pounce. Then Eric tripped. I heard him hit the ground with a thud and looked back. The rake was nearly on him, its clawed hands stretched out, ready to drag him into the darkness. I doubled back without thinking, adrenaline pumping through me. I grabbed Eric by the arm, hauling him to his feet just as the creature lunged. We didn't stop until we reached the car, slamming the doors shut, hearts hammering in our chests. For a moment, none of us spoke. We were drenched in sweat, panting, trying to catch our breath. Did you see it?" Dylan finally managed to choke out. We all nodded, still too stunned to say much else. We didn't stick around to find out what happened to the rake. We didn't want to. We'd seen enough. We never spoke about it after that night. Not really. It was like some unspoken rule between the three of us. The kind of thing that, even if you believe it happened, you don't want to remember. But sometimes, late at night, when I'm lying in bed, I still hear it, that screech. I wonder if it ever really stopped hunting us, or if it's just waiting for the right moment to come back.
Rest assured, dear viewers, we here at the Daily Dougal will not rest until we've uncovered the web of lies.